Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Sandra Jones. This week, it was all about the science aboard the International Space Station, and a special Earth to Space call took place about just that. On Wednesday, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson discussed recent scientific research and technology demonstrations aboard the International Space Station with astronauts living and working aboard the microgravity laboratory. During the Earth to Space call, leadership and the crew discussed a tech experiment demonstrating the performance of a small robot remotely controlled from our home planet to perform surgical procedures in space.
Yes, absolutely. It's very exciting, obviously applicable to back on Earth remote areas, but why we're setting it up here was to assess when there's a delay in the reaction and when there's a microgravity environment, how does that change those people on the ground performing remote surgeries? When we start going further on longer duration missions, to have that resource of being able to have someone back on Earth perform those surgeries will enable us to go on these longer duration missions further from Earth.
Speaking of science, a space harvest took place earlier this week. The crew aboard the space station spent their time on Monday working on the Apex 10 investigation, which looks into how spaceflight affects plant-microbe interactions. Plants on Earth have associations with microbes that are critical to growth, and the space environment may alter these associations. Plant-microbe interactions in space examines whether the beneficial microbe Trichodermia harzineum gives tomato seedlings increased stress resilience and improved growth in microgravity. Red robin tomato seedlings are grown in station's veggie facility with and without the beneficial microbe. These space flight samples are compared to an identical set grown on the ground at Kennedy Space Center. Back on Earth, NASA's SpaceX Crew 8 is gearing up for their launch and have entered the standard pre-launch quarantine. The flight crew health stabilization process is a routine part of final preparations for all missions to the space station. Crew 8 members will spend the final 2 weeks before liftoff in quarantine to help ensure they're healthy and to protect the astronauts already on the space station from sickness. NASA astronauts Matthew Dominic, Michael Barrett, and Jeanette Epps, and Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexander Gurbenkin will lift off from Launch Complex 39A at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida to perform research, technology demonstrations, and maintenance activities aboard the space station. NASA and SpaceX are targeting no earlier than 12:04 a.m. Eastern on Friday, March 1st for the launch of the Crew 8 mission. Be sure to tune into the Crew 8 launch yourself, but for now, that's Space to Ground for this week. Thanks so much for watching.